Thank you, friends. Shabbat Shalom and blessings to you all. I hope everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day with either your mother or celebrating it one way or another. And I hope all you mothers felt the love your families have for you. Sometimes they don't express it, sometimes they don't always show it, but they always do love you. Half of what I say is meaningless, but I say it just to reach you, Julia. Now, that was the kinder, more sentimental side of John Lennon from the White Album. But we're now officially entering kind of holiday season. You know, we've got school finishing, we've got camp coming up, we've got travel. So we're coming up on a few holidays that we enjoy with loved ones in our lives. And we actually had one that I'm sure went completely unnoticed. It's probably unnoticed just about everywhere in the world except for one place. May 14th this year, the 28th of Iyar, the Hebrew month, not Eeyore the donkey, was Jerusalem Day. What is that, you may ask? I certainly did. And I found out all about it when I was studying at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Israel, one of the top 100 universities of the world and ranked 12th in the world for theological studies. On that date, Jerusalem was liberated from the Jordanian occupation after the 6 days of fighting known as the Six-Day War, which many people have forgotten all about. And that took place in June of 1967 and marked the neighboring countries attacking the emerging state of Israel. Now, for many, it has simply become a long ago memory or one only found in history books for those who still read. Now, the commonly held view was that Israel was an experiment that managed to survive for like 20 years. However, the armies of Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon would now bring Israel to its obvious end. Sounds like something going on not that long ago involving Iran and others. Now, contrary to all odds, Israel not only blocked the attacks of the neighboring countries, but also managed to conquer and take East Jerusalem from the Jordanians as a result. For the first time since the Jordanian occupation 20 years earlier, Jews the world over now had the right to access their holiest place in the world, the Western Wall, known in Hebrew as the Kotel. So if you go to Jerusalem, people will talk about the Kotel. That's the Western Wall. In addition, after Mount Scopus, where the original university building stood, which I still fondly think of, became safely accessible, the Hebrew University returned to the campus after having been exiled to the western part of the city during the Jordanian occupation. Now, when I studied there, even still to this day, you could feel the energy of that unification and the return to the Einstein-Freud-founded great seat of learning, looking out on the true city on the hill, the birthplace of Western civilization as we know it. The battle and its consequences became a significant event in the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, of course. One can never guess how history could have developed had it happened otherwise. Nevertheless, there's no doubt that valuable opportunities for peace between the two nations have been missed, and either side places responsibility on the other, of course. But right after the war's end, Israelis and Jews from all over the world went up to the Western Wall where they prayed, danced, sang, cried, and read the Torah. Up until the liberation of the Western Wall, Jews could only pray on the rooftop of King David's tomb, which is located on Mount Zion. This was the closest to the holy place they could reach without crossing the Jordanian border. Today, Jews, non-Jews, dignitaries from all over the world pray at the Western Wall. Children have their bar mitzvahs. Yes, men and women are separated there, and I'm sure many of you can't imagine the time, not that long ago, that Jews were forbidden from just even reaching its walls. But it is a magical place that I hope you all get to go to at least once in your lifetime. Now, the other holiday, of course, coming up in a week is Memorial Day, a day which honors the more than 650,000 American soldiers. That's a very important number, and one you're going to see in today's reading, who made the ultimate sacrifice to preserve freedom and democracy. As we enter a new book, the fourth of the 5 books of Moses. These are the 5 books that make up the Torah, which is one part of the Old Testament. And we do this as we get ready in a week to break for another holiday, the anniversary of the Great Epiphany, Shavuot. It's going to be May 22nd and 23rd this year, right before Memorial Day. Shavuot means 7. and is the Feast of Weeks, the 7 weeks, also known as Pentecost, which means 50 because it's the 50th day from the beginning of Passover. It's celebrated as the day God gave the Torah to the children of Israel at Mount Sinai, believed to have been in 1312 before the Common Era, 3,300 odd years ago. For those who feel it is difficult observing Jewish holidays, Shavuot is not a complex holiday. It's a fascinating holiday. A prayer is said. In fact, it's the first real prayer in the Bible that we come across as we bring our offering of the first fruits to the priests. We recite the 10 Commandments, something which once was done daily. It's not such a bad thing to do again, with what became the new calling card of God. I am the Lord your God who brought you out from the land of Egypt, from a house of slaves. That was the greatness of God. Freedom, not creation. You shall not have other gods. You shall not make a statue or any form that is in the skies above or the earth below or that is in the water below the earth. You shall not bring up the name of the Lord your God for falsehood. Remember the Sabbath day to make it holy. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not testify against your neighbor as a lying witness, and you shall not covet. We're about to receive those. That's what Shavuot is, the receiving of the 10 Commandments. But that's how prayers used to be done. You simply recited that, and that was it. That was the end of it. Not such a difficult list of behaviors to observe, and a reminder on a daily basis of how to be a decent human being. Then after we do that, we observe Yizkor, the public mourning. Once it was only done on Yom Kippur, but then on Yom Kippur and the 3 gathering festivals. Light a candle for those you love and miss. While we do these and honor the greatness of this religion built on freedom, we look around at the continued growing hatred of Jews and Israel worldwide, and we get sickened by it. Now, there's a very big anti-Israel mob that attacked the synagogue the other day. But where they choose to protest tells you everything. They didn't protest at the UN. They didn't protest the consulate. This is in New York, of course. Nowhere connected with Israel or its policies or its politics. Instead, these people attack synagogues. And synagogues mean Jews, not Israel. When will the media stop pretending these are political? Israel is an excuse. It is not the target. Jews are the target. Now, this is a complete disgrace, requiring hundreds of police as swastikas are carved in trees surrounding the synagogues. We're getting closer to Jewish death. That's what's going to take us to stop this. The once proud Jewish homeland outside their homeland is now run by a complete anti-Semitic government who encourage this behavior by their refusal to stop it. If we tolerate it, we condone it. This is not America. And by America, I mean North America, as we once knew it when it was free and people were free to worship in peace, and there was not these paid mindless anarchists roaming around. The mayor, the chief of police, the city council do nothing to condemn this violence against the Jewish community. Where's the governor of the state housing the largest city in the United States with the largest Jewish community outside of Israel? And then, of course, a flag with swastikas was flown at New York University. Shouldn't someone be coming forward and be the great defender and stop this madness? Now, while this shameful exhibition was going on just south of the 49th, here at the University of Toronto, they've officially redesignated a multi-faith prayer room, now as Muslim-only mosque. Before, Jews, Christian, Hindus, Buddhists, students of all faiths were allowed to use this space to pray according to their own tradition. But now, it's officially Muslim-only space on this publicly funded university campus. Now, this change happened almost immediately after a non-Muslim student complained to the university about the space not being inclusive enough. And so in an announcement earlier this semester, the Multi-Faith Center justified the move by citing heavy use of Muslim students and promised future upgrades such as prayer mats, storage, and ablution stations where students can perform the ritual washing known as wudu. So rather than restore the room as a true, genuinely neutral, multi-faith space open to everyone, U of T chose the easier path, give the Muslims trying to take over the neutral space what they wanted. Now, apparently, the university received complaints from non-Muslim students affected and learned that, according to the complaint, non-Muslims, especially Jewish students, had found the room no longer felt welcoming to them. Political, anti-Israel flyers appeared on the wall, loud group prayers disrupted private observances, non-Muslims were told to take off their shoes, students who didn't conform increasingly felt like outsiders in what was a shared space. And instead of addressing that behavior or reaffirming equal access, the university simply made the mindless exclusion of everyone else official. What does this invite? Inclusion or separation? Division or further hatred? And of course, while all this is going on, 3 Jews were shot outside a Toronto area synagogue. At least the police appear to finally be interested in pursuing the hate-filled criminals. But it's a good thing Emperor Trudeau banned all handguns from Canada. That worked really well, didn't it? Now it's time to put differences aside as we form a community, a true like-minded group, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love, a true chavura, fellowship. As we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all. It's a like-minded group. This community hosts a spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. Even though together we are individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, or spiritually. Any way at all to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, which means come together. Hine Matov, Umenayim, Shevet Ahim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umenayim, Shevet Ahim Gam Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. We support each other in this community, so let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. It's a part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill, and goodwill and intention are the roots of what you control, of what you can correct. It is your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives. And it's goodwill, energy, light that we send to help heal whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal is for everyone. It just floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everyone you love. Think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. Now, it's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. It is the tikkun olam that is part of our spiritual genetic makeup. And a part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everyone. They don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send out energy for the people in need everywhere. Special thoughts and prayers always for those in need of assistance. Because we pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them. We want health, recovery, good life for everyone around us and for those close to us. For Elizabeth, regular queen of all she sees. For lovely Lynn. For the fairy godmother and Carson, both under a bad sign. For Victoria, Angela, for Laura. For Alan, Corey, and Sherry. For Gabby, Lorella, Shelley. For Lily and Giggles. For Snoopy and Alana. For MW and the Elf. For Roberta and Ainura and Winston, who I know I'll be seeing soon. For John and Fern. For Maria and John. For Doria. For Gloria. For Connie and Ronnie. For Tally and Mayim. For Linda, Nina and Danny. For all those suffering and in need. And let's not forget to include all the familiars of our lives. All of our sacred animal friends everywhere. For everyone you know in need. For the whole world. And always for my bee. We pray for those who need prayer, friends. It's the bee's birthday. We pray for those who need prayer. It is the kindness, healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit. Spirit, my friends, never dies. Mi Shabera Avotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu, may the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as He has healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. So let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. This week we begin the new book, this fourth book of the original Bible, which is a book I believe marked the final book of the original, which I think was actually only 3 books and not 5. And in it, we are about to meet the most unique generation in history, known as the Wilderness Generation. Welcome, friends, to Bamidbar, in the wilderness, but which we call Numbers, because it opens with a census, one that will actually have no bearing. It tells us how many members of each tribe there are. Tribes are more important still than people realize, which is important because the land will be apportioned on this tribal basis. Right? And don't forget, the land goes back every 50 years to its original owners, but it's going to require a census at the end for that allotment to take place, because we don't know it yet, but the opening census is going to amount to nothing since the entire generation is destined to die in the desert. Now, the census and the whole theme of the census forms bookends to this book, as does the deaths of Miriam and Aaron. A true changing of the guard is going to take place when the people end up staring out over the Jordan to the promised land. Now, what you will see, as opposed to the stable, unmoving book of rules, Leviticus, is a book of Numbers, is the story of a journey, one we are all still on. The journey is a literary theme, has been a recurring component of world literature going all the way back to the very first book, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest known book, the great epic, the Odyssey, up to and including Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. All of these are stories of a journey. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. We've all dreamt of that place. We all want to go over the rainbow. Now, this reflects real experience. It's a ready metaphor for human lives. It is a connector between the world of literature and the world of dreams, in which experiences of journeys are quite common. The journey in literature can be the experience of an individual or a group. In the book of Numbers, it is both. The journey and the story are how we learn, they are how we live, they are how we form society. Some of the greatest stories in the Bible can be found in this book. Numbers, and it is a bad name, in the wilderness, much better name, is the story of a people coming to terms with having a constitution of laws and coming to terms with their relationship of holiness with the deity. Numbers 1:1. And the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the tent of meeting on the first day, the second month in the second year of their exodus from the land of Egypt, saying. We now know exactly when this takes place, and now we know the real journey officially begins. On the road again, going places that I've never been, seeing things I may never see again. I can't wait. Get on the road again. This is an entire nation in movement with a visible miracle, column of cloud and fire, and miraculous feeding, manna, happening in their presence at all times, every day, over a span of 40 years. It's the only age in the Bible in which miracle is a daily fact of life. Can you imagine living with a daily miracle that you just know this is the way it is? Now, while there's a destination anticipated in a future in which some of them will participate and some will not, no one really knows where that destination is. No one knows where they're going. Several times before, we've seen that with God, you simply have to have faith because He will take you to where He wants you to be, where you need to be. He did it with Moses. He did it with Abraham. He did it with Jacob. Their mentality is a mentality of slaves. And there are various groups and individuals among them with an interest in positions of leadership and power. And doesn't that seem to be the nature of man, even today? But this tells us the story of Israel's trek through the wilderness on the way to the promised land, their failure at the edge of the land, and the subsequent 40 years of wandering. It reflects real experience. It is a true metaphor for human lives. It is a connector between literature and dreams in which experiences of journeys just go on and on. The wilderness depiction conveys two quite different qualities. On the one hand, the wilderness constitutes a kind of ordeal. The people's life is orderly, protected, close to God. It's a period of incubation, of nurturing. All is provided: food, water, direction. The miraculous is the norm, but at the same time, the wilderness is depicted as a terrible place. Conditions are bad. The environment is hostile. There is rebellion from within and fighting with people that they encounter on the way. There are power struggles. There is palpable fear. The wilderness, a place each of us journeys through during our own lives. Some people are still on that journey. Sit back. Enjoy the journey. It is where the lessons and joys of life come from, where our goals and desires are incubated. We live for the journey, my friends, not for the destination. Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace, freedom for everyone, an end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together, we celebrate with each other, we love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally, so let's all send out love, not fear, send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do. Learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourselves, probably especially yourselves. Open your hearts and honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them so that they know. Don't make them guess. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives. It's our intention, our kavod, our cause, our effect. Everything is linked. You always have time to forgive and be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving, compassionate. The secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love, because it's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness, in your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief. Never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. Because we share together, we learn together, we help each other because we are each of us trying to find love, acceptance, and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them. Tell them what they mean. You're never alone on your journey. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive and keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Listen to the voice of God as he talks to you. Never stop asking questions. Do not gossip, do not slander, do not invite impurity into your lives, and think before you speak. All those things will just keep you in good standing. Your words can empower you. They can free you. And make sure you did call Mom. And if you didn't call her, you can still have time to call her and tell her you love her and acknowledge all she did for you. Because she is your foundation for everything, and we all know that. We just don't always like to admit it. We all have a direction home. No matter what you think, the journey is yours. Lord, I was born a rambling man, trying to make a living, doing the best I can. When it's time for leaving, hope you'll understand. I was born a rambling man. Now, we've been rambling for thousands of years. It's time to go home, my friends. Thank you for joining me. Keep sharing the light, practice forgiveness, be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself. Spread a little goodwill to the world and continue to be the miracle in someone's life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.